Hey, good evening. This is Tom Rutter again on behalf of Pennridge Community Education Foundation. I'm delighted to welcome Allyson Kearney, who is our second person that we're featuring as Faces of Pennridge. Allyson, congratulations and welcome. It's nice to meet you. We've had a few phone conversations, and this is the first time we're meeting. I guess this is as in person as it gets during this pandemic. Um, I wanted to share a little bit about Allyson before I start bombarding her with some questions. Allyson is actually in her third year of teaching at Pennridge High School. She's had some experience before that, including motherhood, most importantly, I'm sure, for her. She was a graduate of Central Bucks High School. She attended Penn State University. And what a tribute to you, I think, that your high school hired you back right away, I should say, right out of the chute in college to teach there for 9 years. And that's when you then had motherhood on your agenda, and good for you. So you started raising your family. But before you came to Pennridge just 3 years ago, my understanding is you also experimented with higher education. It was Professor Kearney, if I'm not mistaken, at Bucksmont, at Montgomery County Community College and Bucks County. So I'm sure that's been an interesting perspective in your work with high school students. Allyson was actually nominated. I think this is one of the greatest honors you can have by a student. And in her testimony, this student said that Mrs. Kearney will do whatever it takes to help her students succeed. And I'm just going to share a quick story myself because I can testify to that. In our preparation for this interview that we're about to undertake, I think it was almost 9:30 at night, Allyson, and we were on the phone and you said, "Oops, I got to go." And it was kind of abrupt, but the reason Mrs. Kearney had to go was she had a student waiting. She had promised to, I guess, do some tutoring in physics. So there you go, right? Proof is there. Allyson, in our conversation, it was a fun conversation. I remember you starting to share an initiative right in the midst of this pandemic where you brought some life skill students into your chemistry lab. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about that. Give some people some insight.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's really an honor. I appreciate it. I'm really grateful to be teaching at Pennridge. It's absolutely been a wonderful set of years. So I'm very grateful. And so what I started at Pennridge, props go out to Christine Lionetti. She's a colleague and just absolutely wonderful, inspiring person. And at one point she had said, it'd be really terrific. My first year, she had said this, it'd be really terrific if we could have the life skills students come and do a lab in the chemistry room and have lab partners that were my students. And also I'm going to give props to my neighboring chem teachers, Kim DeStefano and John Winstanley. They loaned me some of their AP Chem and Chem 2 honors students to be lab partners. So it's really a team effort, a real collaborative effort. And we had the whole crew of the life skills students come and partner up with a student from one of the chemistry classes. And this started my first year, and we did it once a month, and it was really exciting and fun. Everyone in the room learned so much and had a great time and shared love of science and experimenting. And then last year we continued it. And then this year, of course, things are a little bit different with COVID. So we didn't want to stop the opportunities, not only for the life school students. Of course, it's wonderful for everyone. It really, everyone learns so much. And it's such a community feel. And my students have been absolutely fantastic. They've come in after school to do the labs because we need to be in smaller groups so that we can be, following the safety protocols for COVID. And they've just been outstanding. And again, everyone in the room just has the best time. And my students will consistently ask, when is that going to happen again? And they're busy kids, they're really in all kinds of AP classes and the play and sports, and they just are such good, wonderful kids that they want to give back, and they know that they're getting joy too. It's not, it's the win all around. Everybody's winning in that
You better believe it. As a principal, I always looked in interviews for teachers who understood that it wasn't just about subject matter, right? I mean, the periodic table is important, right? But
Yes.
some of those lessons, those are the things that your kids will really, really take with them and reflect on for many, many years. Kudos to you and all of your teammates there at the high school. Thank you. It's a nice segue. We're actually going to be honoring a woman who I don't believe you knew personally because she had just left before I guess you arrived, Maria Gannon, and she was a life skills teacher, just one of the legends of Pennridge. She's being honored as a friend of education, and in her nomination, the person who nominated her spoke to her desire to build bridges. And it seems like that's what you were doing and are doing with your kids every day, building bridges between the regular ed and the special needs students and also into the community. I know that program goes. I wanted to ask you in general, what has been special about teaching in Pennridge in particular? What has inspired you? What has been special about being in our district?
Well, the things that stand out right away are the students. I just can't say enough. There are days, day after day after day, where I come home and tell my family, my mom, I call her every day and just tell her literally how wonderful my students are. And it's just true. They're good kids. They work hard. They ask amazing questions. I'm fortunate to work with some students who are in what's called the Chief Science Officers Club. It's an international club, and one of the students recently just was able to contact NASA scientists and put on a Zoom for people to talk with NASA scientists.
Wow.
These are amazing kids. One of the CSO students was just honored to be part of. Oh dear, now I'm gonna forget what it's called. Oh, I'll think of it in a minute. But they're just absolutely incredible kids, and they they just not only are hardworking and respectful, but they're intellectually curious and kind. I mean, you just get the whole package. So that's really right off the bat. That's one of the number ones. The other is my colleagues. I mean, I just am inspired by them. The levels to which they're willing to work to ensure that kids are having a good educational opportunity, not only in COVID, but in every year. And they really we all care about each other. I have friendships that are much more than colleagues. And it's only 3 years. I feel very, very fortunate. That's not, you don't get that everywhere. So it's pretty unique, I'd say. Not, you hope that most places are like that, but it isn't always. And I also have been given a lot of green lights, even with the life skills opportunity by administration and support in that. And I really am grateful because that's just kind of, it's a little bit outside the box, and people have been very supportive. So, you can't go wrong. Great students, great colleagues, support. It's a really special place to be.
Well, I have a feeling that you add an awful lot to that special place to be. And I just want to thank you. This whole initiative of Pennridge People is really about, we're trying to be your cheerleaders. And the more I get to know people like you, I hear so much about the dedication of our staff through this pandemic, and you're a representative, but you certainly have been exemplary in what you have done through the pandemic and beyond. And we thank you and we salute you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Allyson. Thank you.